right?
Oh, get me fired up. No, this is where Robert asks Ericka about girl stuff. This is what, like, when I went off air and we have Ericka asks Robert about Jewish stuff. That's what we do. I love it.
Exactly. So do you know who Phyllis Chesley is?
No.
Chesler. So she is one of the original feminists in the 70s, and it's called the second, she was an icon feminist. Look her up. So she puts out an article, which is fascinating, where she just takes to task these modern day feminists, right? Because they're really not defending feminism and they're not defending women. I mean, part of this is obvious. I mean, where are all the women's rights group standing up to argue against transgendered women or transgendered men? I don't know what you're supposed to call them, but basically physically men competing in women's sports, right?
Yeah.
Where's all the women's rights groups speaking up on this?
Oh, it's outrageous, Robert. I don't understand it, and I love it. So yes, Phyllis Stuart Schlafly. So
no, Phyllis Chesler is who is.
Oh, this is a different person.
Phyllis Chesler.
Oh wait, what is this thing that came up? Never mind. Anyway,
she was part of the second wave called the radical feminists that pushed for equal rights and those kind of things. But here's what she says, which I want your opinion on.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay.
I want your opinion on. She says it's a sorry sight to behold college-age American women committing civil disobedience on behalf of a savagely misogynistic terrorist organization, hypnotically joining in Muslim prayers on campus and happily donning the hijab, even as Muslim women in Iran and Afghanistan are being jailed and even murdered for refusing to do it. Let me finish. She said, like the Democratic Party, they too are no longer interested in a sex-based equal rights amendment, but in an amendment geared to identity rights. In their view, it is only fair, quote unquote, that trans women, aka men, be allowed to compete with cisgender women, aka real women, in sports, occupy women-only jails, share locker rooms, showers, and bathrooms with those who menstruate, get pregnant, give birth, breastfeed, and experience menopause. So will the real feminists stand up, please? What say you?
Hit right here.
What say you?
A real feminist for women. I love that the old school feminists are standing up and fighting against this stuff, because
and she's a radical in her day.
And that's the thing, is it's one thing to be like, if I get divorced, I shouldn't be incapable of getting a loan, and I shouldn't be discriminated against for a job, and like legitimate problems that women had back in the day. Like, are we now so free and so equal that we've gone all the way around the circle to make men the most important thing again? I don't.
Well, I'm all for that. Wait, I'm all for that.
It is. When you talk about the upside down Alice in Wonderland, I mean, it is outrageous. It is any woman who defends the rights of men to take their stuff is not a feminist. You are not for women. You are not pro-woman. You are a nut. You are an absolute nutter.
Look, I think that this argument can be summed up with two pictures. You have Leah Thomas on the one side. That's the guy who became a woman and won all the, the records in swimming, versus Riley Gaines, who is a real woman from birth, that kind of thing. Right.
Yeah.
But it amazes me. It's still, again, where's the outrage? We're going to end the show where we started, which is where's the outrage? Where are the women's groups? Where are the women's group that are loud and vocal that says this is wrong? Look, the only ones I see standing up are people like Martina Navratilova and people like Riley Gaines, of course, and others.
Legitimate athletes who know what it takes, who know what it means, who actually have to suffer the consequences of their ideology.
Yeah, and I think it was one of the Williams sisters too, Serena Williams or Venus Williams. I don't remember which one.
She refused to play somebody.
Right. So again, the other thing she said, she goes, ironically, the anti-capitalism, anti-imperialism, anti-Americanism, as well as intersectionality were neat ways of denying Islamic gender and religious apartheid, and a long history of Islamic imperialism and anti-black slavery.
Wait, what? Wait. Wait.
Religious. Look, she's basically saying that Islamic values are a gender and religious apartheid, especially when it comes to right. I'm reading.
I mean, where's
that's
the
pretty
lie?
Ballsy.
Where's the lie?
Well, again, it comes back to, so if you're gay in this country, man, or homosexual, lesbian, if you're a woman, whatever, I don't get all the right terms, and you're all for this sort of anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian stuff, go live in one of those countries and see how that's working for you. And I'm not telling you to, if you don't like this country, leave. I'm just saying there's an inconsistency. No, but there's an inconsistency. You say you're for these rights, yet the organization and the places and the people you're supporting would deny the very rights that you find important to yourself, that's allowing you to demonstrate in this way. It is the height of cognitive dissonance.
And that's why you're seeing the fracturing of the victimhood coalition on the left. People thought that the victimhood coalition assembled by Barack Obama could be perpetuated forever. And it can't. But it has to collapse under its own weight. That's why you see Jewish people now with all this crazy stuff. Jewish people are leaving the new plantation. We'll call the leftist plantation. Jewish people are leaving that plantation. Soon other people are going to have to leave too.
Nope, they're not leaving. They have
They're not.
No, they have a moment of cognitive dissonance because they have to say, well, I'm either voting for abortion rights or I'm voting for Trump, and I can't vote for Trump. Most of them are saying is, I can't vote for Biden, but I can't vote for Trump, so I'm not going to vote. Great. That's what they're saying.
God. I mean,
so
that might be better. I don't know.
Well, look, at the end of the day, the single most important right you have is the right to vote in a free and fair election, and the right to determine who your leaders are. If you don't exercise that right because, well, it's my right not to vote. Yes, it is. But if you don't exercise that right, you have no ability or no grounds to complain about the results because you abstained. You said, I'm not taking a position. And it's too hard for me. I can't choose between the lesser of two evils, so I'm going to choose nothing. That's not life. That's not acceptable.
Yeah. Well, that's why I also have the very unpopular opinion that not everyone should have the right to vote. I think we should get rid of the constitutional amendments that give everyone carte blanche ability to vote. I think you should have to earn it. I think it's a privilege and not a right. And I think letting people, the problem, I don't remember where the quote came from, but it was somebody smart back a long time ago that said, as soon as the electorate realizes they can vote their hands into other people's pocketbook, our republic is over. And sure enough, what has happened? We have the Federal Reserve, we've got welfare, we've got all these entitlements, we've got all of this crazy stuff, and now we have illegal immigrants in our country demanding my money. I mean, come on, bro. Like, get all the way up out of here. Anybody who voted for a sanctuary city, you lose your right to vote. Anybody who thinks that illegal immigration is cool, you lose your right to vote. Anybody who wants to be lazy and not work, no voting. I could keep going.
I was gonna. Well, please do. Is this Ericka's rants? Robert. There's Robert rants. This is a rant. I like that.
Look, I mean, this is like. Yeah. Go ahead,
Ericka. At the end of the day, the right to vote is sacrosanct, and I agree that I wish the voters were more informed before they cast a vote, but unfortunately, because we've lost control of academia, they've dumbed down the process. That again, we've had this discussion. Yeah, academia used to teach people how to think. Now it's more important that they be taught what to think. Right? It's an indoctrination, and they don't teach civics. People don't know how the government works. Most people. Here's a test for you. We've always talked about this man on the street thing, which I'd love to do. I would love to hold up a map of the Middle East and say, find Israel on the map. I'm not sure they could find their own state on the map of the United States.
No,
They sure the hell are not going to be able to find Israel in the Middle East. They don't know how their government works. They know that they have a right to vote. They know that they have a right to dissent. They don't even understand the limit that there are limits of free speech when it comes to, you know, violence or inciting violence, right? I mean, but I am an old school liberal, believe it or not. And the old school liberal is, I may disagree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. We have so lost that ability. But the right to vote, if you don't vote, there are people in other countries who die to vote. If you don't vote and you abstain, you have no right to have any say in any outcome because you did not participate in the process.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, that's one of the important things about Israel. Israel is a democracy. By the way, here's your last question in your test. Name another democracy in the Middle East.
There isn't one.
There isn't one. So again, they talk about from the river to the sea. It wasn't a trick question. It was a fair question. They talk about from the river to the sea.
Yep.
Well, imagine a world where Israel doesn't exist. And what would that be like? And that, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the things we're going to talk about at Israel Appreciation Day. You want to drive Israel into the sea, right? Go, you know, drive the Jews into the sea. Christians, you're next. But what if Israel didn't exist? Israel Appreciation Day, June 5th.
Yeah.
2024 in Washington, D.C.
We're going to go out with y'all and come back and see us next week. Learn more.
Why Israel Appreciation Day? Because no one is telling the Israel story about why Israel's existence is so important, not just as a Jewish state and not just as an ally of the United States, but for all the positive achievements Israel has contributed to the world in science, technology, medicine, human rights, religious freedoms, rule of law, democracy, and so on. We need to start winning the public relations information war and change the narrative, especially among our younger generations. We need to get the information out there and arm those people who understand the seminal importance of Israel to the world. And being the Jewish homeland doesn't begin to tell that story of why Israel is so important. It's something we all can come together on, and honestly, it's something we all must come together on. It is imperative the general public understands the nature of the very special relationship between Israel and the United States and Israel's importance to the world. So please join us on June 5th in Washington, D.C. as we celebrate Israel Appreciation Day. And if you cannot be there in person, we'll be streaming live on the web at israelappreciationday.com. Never again is now.